Today's video is all about Tectum, the fastest blockchain for all industries. We're going to be doing a deep dive in today's video, figuring out whether if this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio for the up and coming bull run. Should we be buying the dips? And we're going to be looking at the value proposition. We're going to be looking at the tokenomics, the team, and other interesting facts that could make us fundamentally bullish for the up and coming bull run. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. But the question is Tectum an opportunity? Should we be buying into this project in preparation for the up and coming bull run? Because at the end of the day, that is what we're looking for: hot new projects with great fundamentals. Tectum right now is potentially one of those, and in today's video, we're going to be doing this deep dive. We're going to use the website as the main platform to gather our information, so we're hoping that the website does justice by giving us everything we need. So it would also, this deep dive will also give us an opportunity to critique the website as the main gateway to this project. All right, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on here as we begin. The landing page is pretty decent, quite engaging here. Fast blockchain for all industry. Tectum is the world's fastest blockchain. Okay, let's pause right there, guys. We know that a lot of new projects coming out nowadays are claiming to be the fastest. You know, we got to take it with a grain of salt. We got to really understand that they're all competing against one another for this speed factor. However, guys, they're all quick, they're all fast, they all claim to be the fastest. Let's just, you know, understand that they're all competing in that in overall scenario. Okay, so a lightning fast distributed ledger powered by a superconductive digital financial environment of the future. Okay, lots of jargon there with not much value. I'm not crazy about it, but at the end of the day, it is a blockchain that's supposed to be fast. Now, I don't even feel like this sentence really does it justice, to be honest. Let's keep on going down. You can get a wallet, you can get its native wallet so that you can hold basically on hot storage, like a MetaMask connected to your browser. That's a good thing. I think that what this area of the website does, it really does spell out the structure here. It is a layer 1 blockchain, okay? So exceeds 1 million TPS transactions per second and provides instant event status delivery and ownership updates. Great. So as a layer 1, it has this scenario. And then obviously we have another layer, because really, what is the layer 0? What is really happening here with Tectum is that it's a scaling solution for Bitcoin. So that's one thing that should really be up in front and center into this up and coming section of the website, is that what is the actual value proposition? Yes, it's a blockchain, no doubt, and it's fast. Okay, that's great. And then there's soft node, which is another layer. This could be considered a third layer. The transactionless payment system for all our new superconductive digital environments. Another statement that doesn't do it justice, in my opinion. Then you have a crypto wallet, instantly transfers and converts crypto, okay, for a fraction of a cost. Great. We all need a wallet with swapping capabilities and bridging capabilities. That is definitely the latest and greatest trend for DeFi, is the power of the wallet. 3FA authentication, great, nice, flexible, scalable, and completely secure solution for users. Great stuff. Okay, but I feel like ultimately these two sections need a little bit more detail, and we can learn more, definitely. Let's continue going through this website, and then we'll go back and click some of these links. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, open a new tab, right click, open a new tab, so that way we have those ready to go. The fastest blockchain, okay, we're not comparing other blockchains that are also fast and maybe some of the newer ones. Let's just keep it as that. Guys, do your research, compare and contrast. Don't rely on the data that is provided on the website, especially when they're comparing them to like other projects. They stop at Phantom. There are other projects that are much faster in between here that could be considered. In fact, there are others that may be even considered faster than the transaction speed of Tectum. So, you know, again, take it with a grain of salt. Let's move on here. There's no point of arguing about that. Now, this icon, this scenario right here is probably the biggest value proposition In fact, this is the most important for me. What I see, the utility behind this project is the fact that there's a layer on top of the Tectum layer called Softnote, which basically allows individuals to have like a disposable wallet. Let's call it almost like a debit card or a gift card. You know, when you get a gift card and you load it up with some capital, some funds, and all of a sudden you got some transferable value, some transferable money, and that way you can use it in a very similar sense. Softnote offers a very similar thing. You basically get yourself an empty debit card or a card or some sort of space where you can store information, and you fill that space, you fill that wallet, you fill that debit card, right? And that way you can use that debit card very easily. And what's interesting about the debit card is that the reality is it's a Bitcoin soft note. So really what is being stored on the card is Bitcoin. So ultimately now they're trying to figure out a way how to basically transfer Bitcoin around using this third layer with less fees, quicker transactions, because we know that Bitcoin has its limitation. But the soft note allows it to kind of be able to transfer Bitcoin around to others as a payment system, because right now we know that Bitcoin has that issue. Again, the gas fees are not the lowest, they're not the highest, but they're not the lowest, and the speed is not the fastest for payments. It's more of a store of value. But the reality is, on the white papers of Bitcoin, it's meant for payments, but it's not really that practical. So what we're doing here is actually looking at a scaling solution for Bitcoin, how we can make it faster and more appropriate for microtransactions and basically payment systems. So this is good. So you have this debit card that now you can use your Bitcoin that is loaded up on this card on this third layer that's called Softnote, and use it on a basically zero fee processing for end user. The person that pays the fees is the merchant, the person on the other end, which is pretty interesting. We'll get into this in a little bit more detail. So basically, Softnote can be used person to person, sent over any messenger application as a picture file. Basically, you're sending them a wallet. You're sending a person a disposable wallet, which for me, all you really need to give them is the password, essentially. Softnote is secured by passcode rendering. It is useless to an unauthorized processor. Interesting stuff. So this is where we need a little bit more detail, and we can learn about Softnote. I'm wondering if the tab that I opened up earlier basically directs us to the same page. We'll open it in a new tab just in case, but let's keep on going. Authentication, I think was designed from a group of, okay, fine, a lot of good stuff here. Fine, authentication is very important, obviously, for your safety, for your assets and all of that. You can read into that a little bit more. The chatbot, it is an AI chatbot. A lot of projects are integrating this AI aspect of things, and I think it's a trend that we can expect almost like a given. It's taken for granted nowadays that a lot of these projects integrate AI some which way or another. They're definitely integrating, so that's a good thing. The roadmap is nice and clean. I know right here it looks like underdeveloped, but click and you'll see these are milestones that they've completed in the last little while, which is great. It's nice to see that the team has been very active hitting their milestones. And then if you click again on the minus and you collapse this and you basically start looking what's in progress, they got a couple of things in the pipeline, right? In 2024 right now we're looking at BitTrue listing. Okay, that's really good, because we'll talk about the exchange listings. There's a lot of room for growth there for sure. Community nodes phase 1, and they're still in the chatbot trying to release that in public blockchain, so still almost they're basically in testing phase still, right? So that's not a mainnet yet. They're just hanging out trying to iron out the kinks. That's good. And the next live TPS world record event, they really want to push this speed thing that they can hold a world record. Hardware wallet support, guys. I know a lot of us want that cold storage, guys. I'm hoping that they get Ledger, Treasure, and all the support for all the cold storage, because people want to take their tokens off exchanges as soon as possible. And then the Tectum launchpad, so that we can see some applications being built on this layer 1, right? Because right now we have Softnote potentially as an app or an application that's built on Tectum. But again, diversification, it does have the capabilities of offering a lot more here. All right, so that's it. The partners, a lot of these are not partners, in my opinion. They're not strategic partners. These are just, a lot of them I can see here are listings where the tokens are listed, MEXC, OKX, maybe Pink Sale, I'm not sure what that is. Quant Chain, there's a couple of them that could be, but generally speaking, if you did a little bit more, Rocket X is an exchange, a centralized, decentralized exchange, SDEX as well, Explorer. So you can see that generally Smart DEX, again, not really partners in this case because they're not strategically helping each other out. Featured on Medium, it's almost like a featured on in a scenario. Featured on, this is where they're the Medium. These are all, a lot of them are paid, some of them may not be. So not bad. We got to understand that when you see a new project, a project that is up and coming, the project that is growing, and they oversell themselves with non-valuable links down here, it bothers me significantly, because then I start to critique whether the rest of the things that are listed here on the website are valid. Like, why are you talking Uniswap? That doesn't make you special. It's not a strategic partnership whatsoever. Pretty much any project you can get on Uniswap, as long as you can offer some liquidity to the, you're good. So that's pretty much it. Unstoppable Domains, a lot of Aether. Again, a lot of these projects probably are not strategic, but still decent to know that they're involved in the community. Let's go. Tectum testnet. They're still on the testnet, which is good. Iron out the kinks. Tectum blog, if you want to know a little bit more information. And as you keep on going, if you scroll, you can see that there's a partner here, Crypto Banter. Shout out to Crypto Banter, of course, one of the biggest YouTube channels regarding crypto out there. That's a good partnership, no doubt, for promotional relationships there. And then if you see the soft note accepting merchants, they got 10 Greek plates partner there. And what I find the most important right now, especially with the growth of the true partners, because this is a partner, right? You're trying to find, users. You're trying to find utility by partnering up. And this is pretty good too, because you're getting the promotional aspect of things so that people know what the project is and that it even exists, right? So that's important. But this right here, the soft note accepting merchants, you can apply for a grant where they'll help you get going. And obviously, the more you support your ecosystem, the bigger the ecosystem grows, and more so does the utility of the token. So in order for the utility of the token to improve and have a great value proposition, the overall environment, the ecosystem needs to grow. And this is one way of getting that to happen: infusing capital and offering grants for these businesses to take on Softnode and Tectum and all of that stuff. Okay, so pretty good idea here. That's not bad, and so on. And if you keep on going, there's some other little things that they're working on, but to be honest, it is still a very young scenario here for Tectum. Let's go back up, because that concludes the website here. Just with a quick scroll, we have those tabs that we opened. So let's go right to the top and start looking at some of these other tabs. I wanted to see what these are about, so let's go check that. The Tectum blockchain explorer, we can open this up quick, and then you can see that it's a distributed ledger protocol platform that employs proprietary record chain signature management algorithms. So in other words, speed. Again, lots of speed talk, more speed talk. Blockchain explorer, we already opened that. I'm going to take a look at that in a second. The Tectum blockchain, a little bit of the technicals of what's going on here. It's about hashing in another sense. Tectum hashes packets, it hashes blocks, it hashes just about everything, and to keep it upper level, instead of getting all the little details that might slow down the process of transaction, they try to keep it very simple and only focusing on the data that is necessary. Tectum's high speed is what gives it an advantage, and it comes from having 3 levels of nodes in the blockchain. We have the master node that designed to carry all the heavy weight of data, then the upper level that conducts communication and hashes. So they are able to specialize or separate the process in levels and allow to focus on speed at the higher level. And that's basically how, generally, if you're looking at workflow, you want to separate certain tasks in forms of its difficulty. And that basically, when you're talking about scalability, it's all about the difficulty. And if you can focus and separate the difficulty layers, I think it allows you to specialize in certain aspects and definitely improve speed. So again, from the technical side of things here, guys, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but their proprietary approach here to separating the data and hashing the data attributes to the speed of the blockchain and giving Bitcoin the ability to actually transact at higher speeds and lower fees by using not only their blockchain, but the soft node. All right, so let's move on to the soft node. The soft node aspect of things is probably the most interesting. It's a high-speed transactionless payment system of the future. So transactionalist, what it really means, what does that really mean? So soft note pitch deck, we can look at that as well. Let's go see what that is for a second. We'll put a tab open there. We can see the transaction, the different bills. You have a bill, an empty bill that you produce, that you mint, and then you put Bitcoin on it. And that bill can be sent to other people with a very low fee. Instead of sending Bitcoin itself per se, what you're really doing is sending this soft note that basically holds tokens. And that way, really, all you really need to send is the username and the password to this note. And all of a sudden, they have access to the wallet, the note equals wallet type of thing. You get what I mean? So it's pretty interesting. The idea is interesting because you're not really sending around Bitcoin. What you're sending around is the username and password, the actual access to the wallet. Transactionless payments. So there's no transaction. The soft note can reduce transfer costs to zero and provide instant finality, making Bitcoin scalable global cash system by doing this. Is exactly, read into this, guys. This is really good. You create a wallet. So you BTC crypto wallet creation, the minting of the soft note. This is what you create. You create a soft note. You spend you have to use TET tokens to mint the soft note, and they're basically, they represent 100 bills, a packet of 100 bills. Each individual bill is assigned an individual serial number, and BTC amount is transferred to a pack dedicated address. So you're basically loading up this soft note, loading it up with Bitcoin. Liquidity provision, again, you have to provide that liquidity. You have to provide the Bitcoin to the wallet, and then releasing for circulation. You deploy the wallet, you give the wallet, you put that wallet in circulation, and of course there's revenue generation. The end user spends the soft note. So the debit, the card, if used for retail purposes, the retailer is charged a capped fee of 1%, and that way, you know, there's earning capabilities. Holders are each paid 20% of these fees. So if you're a holder and you're a license holders, you're basically earning 20% of all these 1% fees that are basically by charged to the retailers. Really, really good way of being able to generate a bit of capital here and reward holders. Good stuff. So you can see what's really happening here is you're creating a system that is on top of Bitcoin, allowing Bitcoin to be moved around and transported quite easily with this soft note payment system. Loading up a card. That's all you're really doing with Bitcoin, and sending the card itself to others. Interesting stuff. All right. The soft note pitch deck, this might be cool because then you guys start to see a little bit of the infographic aspect of thing, the blockchain, then you have the wallet, the Tectum token, and then you have the soft note and the Tectum coin. The token and the coin. So there's the token and the coin. Pretty interesting there. I would like to know a little bit more about that. Tectum ecosystem, blockchain, and soft note. So there's 3 layers here you can see happening. Problem, a current monetary system. We're well aware of that. What else do they have here? Is this speed? Yes, it is. More speed stuff, guys. You got to take in consideration, like I mentioned before. And then the soft note aspect. If you look at it, it kind of makes sense. Like, they're just like cards. They're just basically notes, printing off paper that has value, almost like a $100 bill. Very similar. They're printing money here, guys. And each one of these notes basically have a certain amount of value of Bitcoin. You can see that right here. And then this is what you use to actually transact with. And again, fast and low fees. This is what we're looking for. Scalability of Bitcoin. And then soft note 3.0 solution. Passcode, being able to, you know, transfer wallets very easy using passcodes, and market size. They're talking about retail. This is good as a form of payment. And again, proof of utility, latency, blockchain, a lot of good stuff here. I'm not going to get into more of it, but again, a lot of repetition that we already seen on the website. Competition, Swift, of course, Lightning Network, of course, Ripple. I think Lightning would be the most, in my opinion. And then we look at other competitors that scaled Bitcoin that may not have a similar utility, but still offer scalability and lower transaction fees. Like we have Bitcoin Cash, we have even Litecoin for that matter. So we're going to consider that as well, part of the competition, right? No doubt. Basic financial revenue, 5 years. Okay, we'll talk about tokenomics in a second. TET tokens purchased. This is a little bit harder to understand, but you get what I mean. TET revenue, there is a nice info. The team team. We'll talk about the team in a little bit of second. Okay, this is a good wrap up. In fact, it's a nice little deep dive section, but I feel like it doesn't offer that much. Okay, so let's continue. We're back here to the crypto for business. This is it. If you're looking at the future of payments, this is what their bread and butter is, in my opinion. Okay, products. Tectum is the TET is the ticker for the token itself, and then we have the Explorer. Let's take a look at this Explorer. The Explorer is really basic here, guys. It's almost like a little bit disturbing in the sense that there's not offering much value here, much information, and we use the Explorer to gain information. Where's the token holders? Where are the wallets? Where are the transaction amounts? Where's anything? Like, there's not much information. It's highly, highly underdeveloped, and I shouldn't have to log in with any sort of wallet or anything to be able to see this information. So for me, this is not up to par. This needs to be reorganized, rethought, redeveloped here, and it needs to keep up with other scanners such as the Ethereum scanner or many others that have a lot more features here. So that's that for me. Let's move on. We also have the soft note we talked about, the soft note wallet, authentication. Okay, we're good. About the team, let's take a look at about the team, our team. So there's pretty much 2 sections for the team, and we're gonna go here, contact us. This is the team, guys. There's a lot of people here, other achievements and so on. Well, the interesting part about this is that they're fully doxed. No doubt they're fully doxed, and I did a bit of research on the top level of the team. Let's see if we can go back here, because I don't even, this is pointless for me. And let's go back to the about our team. Did I click this or about the team? Let's do the first one again, because I don't even remember what I clicked. I think I did click that one. Let's go to our team. There we go. You can get on their LinkedIn page, and you can get on their Twitter page. Okay, guys, I'm gonna just be very, very real here. Okay, for me, as I'm reading this, as I was going through each individual, this dude right here is the man of the match. This guy is the heavyweight, and I'm surprised he's not up front and center. Now, there could be a strategic thing to have a CEO up front and center that was hired, fine, but this guy's the chief architect, the founder. He's the brains of the operation. This is the overall impression that I get, especially when I go and visit their LinkedIn accounts. This dude right here, Trevor, you know, he seems like he's just in it to provide financial backing. I don't see any background within the tech or blockchain technology. Again, if I'm misinformed, there's not enough information on his LinkedIn account for me to get bullish on the fact that he's part of the team. He might have deep pockets. He might be the investor just to get this thing floating. It could be very possible, and obviously it is very necessary for young projects to have this type of relationship with certain individuals, but from a tech background, from a fundamental background, there's not much there happening. And this dude right here seems like he is half in, half out, perhaps. Let's see if I can log in real quick here. And you can see that he, if you go down, he has other focuses. You know, Crisp Mind, this is what we're talking about, the founder of a different project, something to do with AI and medicine and AI. And then you have Chicago, Illinois, Crisp Mind, which is the Tectum, project. If you look at Tectum down here, let's see if they show it here. Crisp Mind right here. You can see that is the overall that's the foundation, let's say, and you can see that there's a little bit of a freelance. He's a freelancer for QuanMed AI, and then he is chief executive Chris Mine, and then here head of research and development. Okay, so he has other obligations, and you can see that that's totally normal. It's totally fine. But when you see it like, hi everyone, my name is Russell, and I'm here to share my passion for cutting edge fields of blockchain technology, quantum medicine, artificial intelligence. He's got a lot. Now I'm wondering, what's his dedication to TET? That's my only critique. Other than that, this guy's qualified, he's intelligent, he knows what he's doing. But when you see other projects at the forefront, I'm just curious as to how much effort, how important is Tectum to his daily life, his routine. And I'm sure a lot of us are questioning that as well. Let's move on to the team. We also have other individuals, obviously, but I'm looking at the top dudes. This guy's senior sales. He's got some experience in there. This dude has no LinkedIn account, so I didn't even look into that. And then you quickly come down to here, and I'm like, okay, this guy's the man of the match. This guy's where he has a lot of the background. He founded it. He's the full stack. He's everything that really needs full stack development and all of that. This is what Chris Mine, full time for 5 years. This is the man of the match. So for me, that's important. Okay, to know who's leading the team. And unfortunately, the face of the team right now is a little bit, it looks half in, half out type of thing. All right, let's move on. That's the team. Let's see what else we got here. just kind of scroll through all of this as best as we can. The white paper is good, but honestly, the website is even better. The website gives you a lot of information, and that PDF that we went through, the pitch deck, is actually the best if you're looking for, you know, an overall approach to see if this project will fit the bill for your bull run portfolio. The pitch deck does a great job already, so you don't need to really look at the white paper. There's a lot of good technicals there. Let's go take a look. See your white papers. Let's open a new tab just in case, and you can see there is a lot of website, Facebook, lots of links, and then you can get into the history of Tectum. A lot of information here, guys. I just feel like it's almost overkill for the purpose, because they did a great job on the website. So far, the website is ranking fairly high. I'm liking the way they've done it. Look at the roadmap. Let's just, again, the roadmap was nice and clear. No ambiguity. Everything is done. The done and the progress, what they're working on. The Tectum live provisional roadmap. They're listing the post. There's everything here that you need to get bullish. And there's individual pages, a glossary, tokenomics. What we really like to talk about. This is what bothers me a little bit here about Tectum, is the distribution of the tokens. Okay, so so far everything has been somewhat positive. There's a little bit of, you know, negative here and there, but so far this is going to probably be the biggest negative. In the fact, if you add up the tokens itself and you start looking at where the actual allocation is being sent or set, you will notice that staking and node holders, as far as the rewards for those individuals, is very low in comparison to every other aspect of the distribution. So for example, if you look at seed sale, private sale, development, what does that even mean? Development, that's very vague. Like, are this being sent? Are these tokens for developers to keep on research and development? Again, that's 10%. Then service providers, who's that? 5%. Service, what do you mean by service provider? There's little things that add up. So just between this and this, what's the purpose? There's too many little things happening here. Too many basically wallets to fill. The team, another 10%. So what's the difference between the team and the development? And aren't the team part of the development and the development part of the team, and the service provider? Like, I don't know. Like, there's a little bit of happening here. 2% liquidity, initial liquidity. Okay, where does that go? Maybe to get listed, maybe to use for deployment or whatever. Okay, fine, to get the till going. And then public sale. So early access to public sale, only 8%. So they got that going. So who got involved in here? Was this public sale? In which way was it reserved? Like, how was this conducted? Liquidity. So for exchanges, centralized and marketing ecosystem. So 20% here. And then advisors, another 5%. So if you look at 5%, 10%, seed sale, all these little things, they all add up, and the 15%. And it's like, what is really left for regular people, like regular individuals? Like, am I looking at the public sale and only the staking nodes for rewards? It is just a little bit too many wallets, too many pockets to be filled here, and that bothers me. Which a hard cap of 10 million tokens, 10 million tokens, okay, fine, but where are they being distributed? That bothers me, definitely. And with a very vague explorer, I can imagine that at this current moment, the team and the development and the early seed sale and the private sale and they're the ones that are holding the majority of the tokens, guys. So be careful, understand what's going on here. And I'm not trying to tech them down here, but what I'm trying to say in addition to this is that a lot of new projects have a very similar scenario. In order to lift up from the ground, they have tokenomics that usually are heavily weighted towards investing in the team and investing on the early investors, the early stakeholders that are actually going to push this project to the next level, need to be compensated and rewarded early. And that's part of the game, right? Not every project comes out with the mentality of fair launch, because it takes longer. Fair launches generally take longer because obviously there's not much stakeholders earlier on that are willing to push this project to that next level. Here, they're willing to compensate that fair launch aspect with for the benefit of having, again, early investors that could potentially pull some strings and get this thing going. Now we also have a fully docs team, which of course, given the fact of this distribution, you need a docs team. So you gotta understand, at least they're doxing themselves, they're putting their reputation and their name on the line. At the same time, having a tokenomics like this means, like, look, trust me, this is who I am, this is what I'm all about, and this is what my project is. And yeah, there's a bit bit of risk here and a bit of, you know, not so good tokenomics, but at least you know who you're talking to on the other end. So not bad, but not the greatest for me. Okay, so let's move on. You can see a little bit of a clarity here rather than, and even the chart itself is a bit of a mess. Like, we don't need all this fanciness. Give me a regular pie chart. And you can see that, you can see a little bit better here. There is a vesting period. They're locked. The staking nodes locked. Nothing at launch. It's approximately 20% of the tokens. Like I said, seed sale 5%, and they're locked. 75% of them are locked, and unlocked at launch only 3%. And you can go through this. So you can see that, generally speaking, if we keep on scrolling down, we're right around here, if I'm not mistaken, right around here. Okay, so we are 7 months in, and right now you can see that we're going to see a lot of tokens being unlocked in the next little while, up until the next, I would say, year and a half. Now, we also have to understand that the halving is right around the corner, and that we could be entering a decent bull run. And what happens in the bull run, as these tokens get unlocked, the likelihood of them being sold on the open market is very low, given that the market is pushing prices to the next level. So it's like, as we see tokens getting unlocked, it's likely that they get absorbed by the market, the bullishness of the market, and we continue to the upside. However, look what happens after the bull run. Generally speaking, we are going to see a lot of individuals with unlocked tokens, with pockets full, with wallets nice and full, and it's very likely that we see Tectum come back for that retracement for all the profit takers that bought here or got their tokens nice and early down at this level. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. Tectum, although in the short term, bull run style, it could do very, very well as long as these tokens get absorbed. However, after the bull run, I'm expecting Tectum to do a full retracement based on people taking profits that got in early, if you get what I mean here. Okay, so no FUD here, but it's the reality. You can see the distribution, what's been going on here for the last little while. Again, we're right around here. You can see it's highlighted. That's pretty active, so that's good. And you can see that we're getting tokens. Advisors are getting tokens. Service providers, again, all these individuals. The team is not getting anything because it's totally locked, but you can see eventually they start getting tokens after 25 months. So this is it, guys. Look at the breakdown, the vesting periods, and see what kind of sell pressure we will get by diluting the price. Dilution, whenever you get tokens entering the market and getting into distribution, the dilution, the pressure on the price is definitely there, and it's likely to see a price dilution. Okay, so that's my take with regards to tokenomics. I'm not crazy about the distribution, and I'm understanding that there's a fairly linear unlock here, and eventually at the top of the scale we should be prepared for a dip. Okay, so that's that. Tokenomics, yeah, okay, not bad, but not the best. That's that. Tectum Testnet, Bounty Program, Ambassador Program, your partners, and let's go check out these partners. Let's see what's going on here, what we get. Again, become a partner, Unstoppable Domains, Remind, business partners, BitTrue. I really don't like, again, this bothers me a little bit to see BitTrue there. And BSC launch, again, a change. It is a DeFi app, empowers people for all corners. Okay, change. We know about Chain. CoinGecko is not a partner. Market, this is not a partner. You know, so we got to really understand what is a partner, what is not. Be very critical of what value these partnerships are, and if they're strategic or not. Partners doesn't mean just having a link on each other's website. They need to be active somehow. Are they pushing each other in some sort of direction and to achieve goals? And that needs to be spelled out very clearly in some sort of way in order for me to take that as a bullish scenario. So pretty good, not too bad. Let's make sure that we covered all our angles. We went through all of the soft node is the biggest value proposition here. The rest of it is pretty much a quick layer one, the layer two, and the soft node being the next layer that takes this to the next level. Pretty good. The TET, and that's about frequently asked questions. They got that, which is pretty useful. Let's click. If you want to know about Tectum, well, they got a lot of questions here and a lot of good answers then. So feel free to dig through all of this. Does Tectum have a mempool? Even if all the nodes are connected, so about nodes. So go check out this website. All right, guys. You know that I create those infographics, but before I do that, let's go see what's going on with these tokenomics first, quickly, as far as the market cap. It's a $208 million market cap. Now, when I did the research yesterday, things weren't as high up. We did prop up a little bit. So my number is going to be slightly off when I release that infographic. But you can still see it's still within somewhat of a decent range. We got a nice pump overnight. We're up approximately 4% for today, which is decent. 24-hour trading volume. is a bit low for me. I would like to see a little bit more volume. Fully diluted, 287 million with a market cap of 208. And if their circulating supply right now is at 7.2 more or less, and the total supply is at 10, we do have a few more tokens to enter circulation here. So we got to understand there could be a little bit of dilution in the next little while. Okay, so and there's a max of 10 million. So that for me is a good, nice, hard max supply to be able to anticipate. That's when we're going to be done. But the unlock period, guys, that's what we got to worry about. Is again the unlocks, the token unlocks. Go check out that vesting period schedule. And that for me is something that we should really be studying. Where are we as far as exchanges? We see Uniswap, Mexi, BitGet, Bitmart, SmartDex, CoinW, and of course there are some decent exchanges here. Like a lot of us love Mexi nowadays. BitGet is decent, of course, but no heavyweights, no Binance. No Coinbase, and not even KuCoin. Okay, KuCoin would have been good, coupled up with Mexi, you get a lot of good volume. But right now we can see that Uniswap has 49% of the volume, followed by Mexi. So that means that Uniswap has some decent volume, some decent liquidity. You can get in and out pretty decently with 50% of the volume being attributed to Uniswap. But still, the volume is not even that big. So the pie is small, and Uniswap has the majority of it, or a good portion of it at the current moment. About half of it. Mexi has a good portion, and the rest of them kind of just a little bit each. But you can see that it could do for another listing on a major exchange, driving the price even further when that happens. So that's an opportunity, also a weakness and an opportunity here. As long as we break through and get another listing, it's definitely a good opportunity. But if not, the volume bothers me, the amount of volume. And I'll show you the metric in a second. So that's not bad. That's not bad. We have... yeah, the market cap it's small. It's a small market cap. It's not a micro cap. It's small, and it definitely has some good opportunities to the upside. All right, so let's take a look at that infographic so we can summarize and give you my conclusion here. Tectum. At the end of the day, it is offering a decent value proposition. Its value proposition is to scale Bitcoin and allow Bitcoin to transfer cheaply, quickly, and give us that the use case of Bitcoin without all the red tape or the friction with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been marketed now as a store of value, which it does a great job as, but we still want options for Bitcoin. We're seeing a lot of good projects being built alongside us, side chains or layer 2s on top of scalability, and these are all good things to the point that we've seen Bitcoin become having its own narrative, right? The Bitcoin narrative, the Bitcoin ecosystem, and now Tectum is part of that ecosystem, Bitcoin ecosystem. So when we see stacks run up, when we see Tectum run, it's potentially because Bitcoin is showing strength. So ecosystem. For me, the big player is SoftNote. Everything else right now in the current state is just speculative, very speculative. SoftNote is where the value proposition is in that ecosystem. It's the most valuable thing that they got going. Because if it wasn't for that, it's just a layer 1 with speed. And I get it. And that battle for speed is clear. Every deep dive that I do, usually they claim to be the fastest, okay? And I'm not going to say which one is. There's no point. You do your own research. But ultimately, SoftNote is what no other project can really compete with. This is their bread and butter, and that's what we need to focus on, not the speed. Okay, so SoftNote is interesting. Again, if you want more clarification, rewind, watch the video again, or visit the website because they do offer a lot of good reading material to explain this a little bit further. But being able to put Bitcoin on a temporary type of wallet, like a debit card, and be able to transact using this debit card in such a way that fees and speed is faster, guys, it gives Bitcoin utility, better utility than it already has, and it diversifies its utility into a payment system rather than just a store of value that it's really, really good at. So good stuff there for Bitcoin, and good stuff obviously for Tectum. Utility, minting, this is what you can use the token for: minting SoftNote bills, paying reduced merchant fees, minting project tokens, and rewards. As a layer 1, you're going to expect that the ecosystem is going to grow. They're incentivizing developers and for growth of their ecosystem. It is still young. So the utility right now for me is 10 out of 10 because it has a very typical utility. What it's going to be used for as a layer 1, the TET token, is basically to drive the network, to drive the whole ecosystem, rewarding and minting and buying assets or buying services. And that for me is very typical of of many layer ones. So good stuff there. 10 out of 10. Roadmap, another 10 out of 10. Very clear, detailed. Time horizon is provided. No ambiguity, none of that nonsense. So that's something that I really do appreciate, because at least you can look forward to something and they don't have to give you the exact date and time as to when they're going to achieve it. A general idea can be in this, could be monthly, could be quarterly, you know, type of thing. And it gives you an idea of what the team is focusing on in the immediate short term in order to achieve objectives. And ultimately, that's what we look forward to. As they get closer to these nice, big, strong news events, we could see some good volatility to the upside, and we want to be able to get in prior to the pop. So giving us a roadmap to anticipate good progress is healthy. It's healthy for their ecosystem and their stakeholders. The team fully doxed, of course. That's a great thing, and I give them a lot of credit, because a lot of them you know, are a little bit iffy as far as their involvement in TET. Like, I'm not criticizing that, because I know a lot of people have other things going on in life. They don't have to completely focus, but when you're looking at from an investment perspective or a stakeholder perspective, you want to know what the team is really gearing towards. Like, what are they putting their maximum effort? And some of the team members at the end of the day have a little bit of vagueness to that focus, and we have some members that don't really even have tech background, or maybe it's not even clear that they do. And for me, that there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of info, but a lot of the info on the site, and there's a lot of it, but it's very vague. So the founder is strong. The founder seems to be very he's the man of the match of the team, in my opinion, and it would have been nice to have him more up front and center, because I think he has the value there as far as the team goes. The socials. The socials are decent, 10 out of 10 right there. Followers are going up. They get new followers on a daily basis on X. They're up 49% from the previous month. And the posts, they're actively involved, 158 posts in the last 30 days, up 32% from the previous 30 days. So we're showing a lot of strength as far as social engagement and engagement from the team itself. They're active, they're posting, they're getting themselves out there, which is necessary not to remain stagnant. As a new project, they need to get that momentum going and continuing that momentum, and the only way to really do it is on socials and harvesting that community. So good stuff on them, 10 out of 10 for that. And tokenomics, sorry guys, let me get that back up there for you. Hold on one second. Right there in the tokenomics, guys. The tokenomics, honestly, I've seen better. I'm not crazy about it. The reality is that 50% of it is in circulation, maybe a little bit more at this point. Only 20% is reserved to node rewards, which means that the rest of it is a little bit everywhere. The rest is in control of the team or early stakeholders. Now, my issue with that is it's not a DAO. I don't see any indication that it is a DAO. So a lot of those tokens, who is in control of them? Who is going to call the shots on all the rest of the liquidity that is available? Are we relying on the team? Are we relying on who? And that for me is a very centralized way of you know, organizing a crypto project. The standard is at the current moment is that you have all of this economics backed by the DAO. The DAO is the one that does the voting. Now, I've seen great examples of how DAOs, the architecture behind a DAO, how they've been created, and a lot of people think that a DAO could make decision making very slow, but that's not necessarily the case, because what the DAO could be doing is voting on the individual that makes the decision about how to spend the money, or how to do the marketing plan, or how to hire people, or whatever the case is. You're just voting on the delegation of duties rather than every little decision to be voted on. That's not the case. A lot of people think that that's still very possible, and that's necessary to run a successful DAO. And for me, that's not the way. Currently, if you have a scenario like this where a lot of the tokens are being controlled by the team or early investors or whatever the case is, and in fact people like you and I have a very limited amount of tokens reserved for accumulation, we need a little bit of security here with regards to the token. So for me, 4 out of 10 right there. There needs to be a little bit more info. I wish I had some information, extra information, or if there was something that maybe I'm missing here. Guys, let me know in the comment section below if I'm missing out on anything, but at my glance, I don't really find find this appealing whatsoever. So go check that out. Obviously, second guess me, critique it. Feel free to do your own research and add to the discussion. 7 out of 10 for partnerships, marketing partnerships, crypto banter. That's bullish. That's good. I'll respect to crypto banter. They have a huge community and they have a lot of push and pull for their marketing. Obviously, they're going to be able to get a lot of eyes on this project. I don't know if they're still active or not, crypto banter, but at the end of the day, that's a good thing. Merchant partnerships, they have some restaurants and some small businesses going potentially, and still they're still in the infancy stage. A lot of the partnerships and things that they got going on there are very, very non-strategic. So these are strategic in my book. These are things that, these are partnerships and relationships that could help them. Being listed on or featured on a website is not what I'm looking for here, guys. It's majority of the projects have those capabilities. What sets them apart from their competition is what I'm interested in. Exchanges, BitGet, BEXC, Uniswap, CoinW, SmartX, of course, a lot of good exchanges, smaller exchanges. When you accumulate them all, they do provide a lot of good liquidity, but ultimately not enough. For me, I'm expecting a listing on a major exchange would bring in some more volume and some more eyes onto this project. Now, if you go over, as of yesterday, okay, the price kind of went up a little bit, but we'll take it as is. The trading volume is very low. It's only 1.5% of the overall circulating supply, which means that there's not enough action there. Those exchanges are very small and they're not getting a lot of volume. And I like at least 10%, a minimum 10% volume to see a very active community. Now there's not enough for me. Now the supply, now this could be a little bit outdated because again, unlocks and things happening in the last little while, but I would say a good portion of them are in circulation. And since the development of this infographic, things did change, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. The supply is there. We should expect a bit of a dip in the price as tokens get unlocked. Okay, so we're at about 50. I think right now we're talking about 70% or so of the tokens are in circulation, the supply in the last little while. Let's go quickly on CoinGecko. What happened here with the circulating supply? 7.5 million and coin market cap. Let's see if I can quickly get coin market cap going. Let's see if I have coin market cap. Let's do this real quick and we can take a look. Let's make this dark so we don't kill our eyes, and we'll do a TET search quick, because sometimes there's conflicting numbers here and I want to make sure. Oh, see, look, this is different. So I've got to really look here. No, maybe not. We're looking at a $5 million circulating supply, which equates to 50%. And this is verified. So CoinMarketCap is giving us verified, but the reported is 7.2. So this is how it is, guys. This is crypto land for you. It's very hard to get accurate. You got to get on the Discord. I didn't really realize this, that there was a discrepancy. I value CoinMarketCap generally a little bit more, because at least they get verified. But self-reported, you can see, is at 7.2, and that is pretty much what CoinGecko is reporting, and self-reported market cap is 200 million. Guys, this is what the issue is, the ambiguity. And with the scanner, the way they have it, where you can't even go and look and make your own your own research, guys, that's problematic. So now that I'm looking at it even more, it's starting to bother me, the fact that I can't verify information from the blockchain itself as a layer 1. So again, critique, be critical about it before you get in. For me, that's problematic. The team needs to resolve this ASAP. And I know their excuses that they don't have control over CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, but they do have control over what they present on the website and their scanner and so on. So at least we can cross-reference some of that information. Let's move on. Diluted, fully diluted, $277 million. So guys, it's still small. That's the reality. It's a very small project. It has a lot of potential still to the upside, especially if you appreciate the value proposition. So overall, my verdict. Let's talk about this for a second. Okay, my verdict. It is a BTC layer 2 scaling solution, very clearly scaling Bitcoin narrative, Lightning, Bitcoin Cash. These are things that we've seen in the past, right? These are old ideas as well. But of course, new technologies, new approaches are very, very bullish in this case, especially as we see that we want to get, the trend is giving Bitcoin more utility other than just a store of value. So that's good. Proof of utility consensus mechanism, okay, that has a slightly different consensus mechanism. Grant to attract merchants. I think that's really bullish, because I'm a big proponent of ecosystem growth. If you provide opportunities for ecosystem growth and support, even if it's financial support for ecosystem growth, it's likely that you're going to improve the utility of the token. And if the utility of the token goes up, guess what? The price will go up because the demand is there. So really, investing at the bottom end of the project, which is the ecosystem, for me is the best thing for a sustainable project for the future, rather than just a pump and a dump. You get what I mean? Marketing dollars come and go, but building a foundation in your ecosystem is a lot more sustainable. Some of the lead team members have other obligations. I don't really like that. When I see that, they seem a little bit everywhere. Again, I could be critical about that. Tokens distribution is not the best. 50% of the tokens are early stakeholders. Again, that's the token distribute tokenomics are not the best for me either, but it's very, very typical in a new layer one to have these types of tokenomics. Not all of them are going to be fair launch. Not all of them are going to be open source. Not all of them are going to be completely decentralized. They're all on a scale. And for me, based on the scale, this is a 50-50 shot right here as far as decentralization, given the fact that a lot of the tokens were already in distribution to people that are early investors, right? And that got in very, very early. Explorer needs major work, guys. We need to get transparent there, though that Explorer is borderline useless. Okay, so if the team is out there looking for an improvement, that is where they should be focusing at the current moment, and they should make that express, because there's no data out there, and it's very it's pretty much confirmed by the discrepancy between CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. We cannot rely on self-reported numbers. We need the scanners to give us a bit of information. Now, we could argue that the scanners that are built by the project or the team themselves could be tweaked and modified and, tempered with, but guys, at least we're trying our best here to achieve that full transparency. Okay, so Explorer needs major works. No DAO or decentralized authority. This is a problem here, guys. I embrace complete decentralization here on the channel. If I find a project that is embracing decentralization, I give that much more attention, because ultimately that's the main goal here. That's a main value proposition behind cryptocurrency, behind blockchain technology altogether. If you know about what blockchain is, what you really want is no third-party authority in the middle calling shots. And we can see that the way the tokens and the way the structure is of the whole project, it has a level of centralization that doesn't really appeal to me. TET, with the market cap of Litecoin, I chose Litecoin because it is a large cap. Okay, now I could have used other ones, right? We could have did Bitcoin Cash, slightly smaller market cap, but I was trying to let's get to the top end. Which project, at the end of the day, this is a fork of Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is trying to improve the scalability of Bitcoin? Litecoin Cash, right? Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and you have others, Lightning Network, and other projects that are definitely trying to make that happen for Bitcoin. However, guys, even if we reach the Litecoin level, we would get a 25x out of this and see a $700 price tag. That for me is a big one. Okay, it's a big one. It's possible, but it's a big and ambitious scenario. And now you're only 25xing yourself getting to that level. Okay, so for me personally, I would, at a $700 price target, for me that would be a good one. I would be very happy to be taking profits and scaling out of my positions for Tectum at this level. Now we could go much higher. Of course, we know that the overall the market cap of the entire crypto space is going to rise, right? We topped out at 3 trillion. We're going to get potentially maybe to 5 trillion, and that we're going to see a lot of capital flow into the market. And if that to be the case, the question is, how much of that capital can TET get versus the capital that Litecoin can get? Litecoin, in my opinion, is an older project, of course, and we're talking about hyped up new innovative technologies such as Tectum, and I think that it could catch up to Litecoin and at least be a good competitor in that space as far as the Bitcoin narrative. Now, we do see a $700 price target. It's very, very possible, and I'm giving it a rank of about 7.5, given the fact that the team, the tokenomics, leave me a little bit skeptical and a little bit concerned about potential drawbacks, dedication wise and decentralization wise. Guys, this is what I got. All right. Let's look at the charts, guys. I know you're here to talk about a bit about this price action. Let's take a look at this price action. What's going on with TET? TET took a dip, not a big one, but a little bit of a retracement. You can see that ultimately I look for retracements. I'm not buying tops, I'm not exit liquidity. I'm looking for opportunities where we see this price come down to these to lower levels where risk to reward ratio is healthy. Now the question is, did TET get a bottom? Is TET reaching a bottom where we can get in with a bit of confidence, or do we expect a continuation to the downside? Guys, let me look at this in a little bit more detail. What I don't like here on the daily is that we're not oversold, and I know I say this quite a bit. I want extreme conditions. In extreme conditions, that's where the emotions come out. That's where the market that tends to get a lot more emotional with things. And for me, when I see emotions, I see opportunity, because ultimately, as a trader, emotions don't matter, right? But as a retail trader, emotions are what cause you to make very, very silly and not sound decisions. So at this current moment, you got to ask yourself, is there emotion, right? Look at the general market here. We can see that the majority of the accumulation happened all the way here at the bottom. Here, you would expect a lot of emotion. People buying the dip, people accumulating down here, people accumulating into this range for this back test, for this confirmation, and then all of a sudden a continuation. The problem is, since that quick pop to the upside, we haven't gotten a retracement to test the liquidity at this level. So is it done pushing down? That is the bigger question. Now, if the RSI is not oversold on the daily, the probability of it coming down is quite high. Now, if it does come down, you got to expect that the price could come down even further. The MACDs right now, EMAs are facing down, red histogram bars to the downside, which means that it could be trying to enter the bearish control zone, which would be below this horizontal right here. So getting these EMAs down here would be bearish, and it wouldn't be good for the overall price. Now, we do see that the price did run up significantly. And again, as I mentioned, the level to hunt liquidity is down here. Now, there's a bit of a consolidation here for this bull flag to the upside, which is very, very nice. And the question is it going to hold support? Guys, if you're going to get in, you're going to want to hug this level as close as possible and hold it as support. You want to get down to this level and hold it as support and expect the bounce. But it won't happen based on the daily time frame. I don't feel like the daily is giving me any indication that the bears are done pushing down, because we're not oversold, because the EMAs are not done pushing down. We're still open and red to the downside. No EMA cross just yet. No green histogram bar to the upside. Nothing whatsoever. No horizontal support. Look at all this. Empty here on the volume profile. Empty price action. We went up with very low volume. All into this. Every time we were going up, the volume was coming down. So it means that market participants weren't really there buying in and selling. All of the people that got in down here were just riding it to the top. Now all of a sudden we have to understand that we might get into some bigger consolidation right here. Now, is this a first impulse consolidation and then another impulse for another retracement to the downside, impulsive move up, retracement to the downside, and then all of a sudden maybe get down to this level, $14? Guys, if it reaches the $14, it's very likely that we see the daily oversold. And then I'm very interested on the daily. But if you're going to get in on a bullish move to the upside right now, it can't be based on the daily, because you can see that the momentum is still potentially pushing down. We have higher highs on the price action right here. Let me show you. Higher highs, very clear and almost very exaggerated. And then you start looking at the RSI, and from the same spot where I drew the lines, you can see that it's downward sloping, and the MACD is doing the same thing, up to down, right? We're sloping down. So that means that we're getting a bit of signs of divergence. Now, upon a backtest, let's say that we do get that pop to the upside. Again, it's not based on the daily, but it's very possible that we get a pop to the upside, get that confirmation high, a lower high. That will give us the confirmation that, you know what, we're going to start changing structure here. Right now, we've been making higher highs significantly over and over, very repeatedly, and to the point that we were able to define a trend. But as soon as we get a confirmation high that is lower than this high, we start to question, are we changing trends, change of structure of this pattern? And then we start to ask ourselves, well, where is the next line for this? Where is the absolute invalidation of this bullish thesis that we might be getting a pop to the upside? So let me get rid of this because it's starting to get messy. And you can see that ultimately, if we do get a bit of a bounce here and a bit of relief to the upside, and let's say hypothetically that we do not make a higher high, it could be a lower high, it could be a double top, it could even be a higher high for that matter, and it could still maintain a class A bearish divergence, even making breaking a higher high. We've seen that in the past many times. 3 drives of bearish divergence, meaning that we can get into an extension level scenario here on the daily. So swing high to swing low, and we start looking at 1.27, we start looking at 1.618 extensions. All this is very possible. Okay, so we're trying to right now come up with this plan that what about if we do get this bounce at the current moment? Again, it's not based on the daily, it's based on the lower time frame. We'll get there. So we'll go look at the 4 hour in a second. So let's continue playing this out. If we do get this bounce, it's the daily's probably going to come up, continue the downwards trend of momentum. Now, even if we make that higher high, now if we get into an entry right now, again based on the 4 hour, we'll trail up the stop loss. We'll as we get to the previous high, we'll take a bit of profit. We'll let the rest run. If we get to the 1.27, great, we'll take another 10%. If it goes up again, we'll take another little bit of 10%, and then expect maybe a bit of a rejection here, because the daily showing us class A bearish divergence. And as long as this bearish divergence does not get invalidated, we need to be very protective of our open position, especially if you're buying the dip right now, because you're not buying it on the daily, you're buying it on the 4 hour. So let's put some red arrows in here just to understand that if we are lucky enough to see the price fly up to these higher levels, we need to be quick to get in and get out, because the daily is still looking like it wants to push down. Okay, so it's going to be a pop based on the 4 hour. Let's do that. Let's go into the 4 hour. If you look at the 4 hour, what happened is that we see it got into oversold conditions. It got quickly into oversold conditions, got a quick little spike in there, not enough time really to do much. So what I would like to see a bit of a back test. I feel like it could happen. I feel like we could come down and see the price kind of roll over once more, come down to this level, get that confirmation, and then get that 4 hour bounce to the upside and get this relief that we're looking for. It could be that right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we have an upward sloping type of head and shoulders formation. We got the bearish divergence with the follow through, and then we get the confirmation, back test confirmation, and then we start breaking horizontal diagonal here, which you guys know I don't like diagonal so much, and I'll explain why. Right, with the diagonal level of support, let's say we do break down. Where do we get support? Is it clear where we're going to get support? It's like we could get support here, maybe get a bit of a bounce. We could come down even further and get support right here and get a bit of a bounce. We could get support all the way down here and get a bit of a bounce, right? The reality is, if this was nice and horizontal, there's only one level to worry about, which is all the touches of the bottoms, and put an invalidation right below with a quick tight stop loss. If it breaks below, you get out. This, if you get out right here, yeah, maybe it comes down to here, right? Or maybe not. Maybe it gets a bounce, right? You could put a stop loss right here, or maybe it gets a bounce. So there's too many possibilities with these little bottoms, right? And there's good confluence here, and there's some good confluence here. So these are the levels of horizontal support that we got to watch out for. And ultimately, the main one is down here at about $14, guys, because the volume profile is showing us that exactly. So what I'm mentally doing here is preparing myself that on the daily, we do come down to lower levels, right? But on the 4 hour, we get this relief, and you could trade this relief to the upside by understanding that if you make 40% and you get out at the golden pocket, great. That's a 40% run, right? A little bit of leverage if that's what you're interested in, or even just spot. Remember, you can basically make 40% more tokens by buying here and selling a bit of it here, and then reaccumulating upon a rejection based on the 4 hour. So again, the daily right now got a nice spike to the upside. I would like to see a bit of a back test of a confirmation. It may not make that lower low, it make a higher low or something, but ultimately coming back down to confirm that this is support would be epic, similar to what happened here. Okay, similar to what happened here. That gave us a lot of confirmation, 3 levels of confirmation right here at this level, and then all of a sudden a nice little bounce. So let's get another confirmation here. The MACD, EMAs are facing up, green histogram bars to the upside, suggesting that bullishness is possible here on the 4 hour. Again, a bit of relief to the downside, and then a continuation up, and then quickly get out based on the daily. Guys, this is what I got for you. If I've offered you any value in this video, you know what you got to do? You got to slap that like button, and it definitely helps out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. And if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, the best place and time to request those projects is live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.